Well, to be very clear, the bottom line, I think, is that if everything was working right in our system and our democracy, the amount of money that corporations and other institutions of that same size and power could spend on giving to candidates would be exactly zero. Okay, so there should not be something there that creates a voice that is louder than your voice or my voice. We are supposed to be the voice of this democracy. That's the whole point. That's why you have one person, one vote, right? And what happens when these large campaign contributions are sloshing around in the background is that you have outsized influence of powerful actors. And I don't actually care that it's corporations, to be very clear. Anything that powerful, giving any amount of money, to me, is fundamentally screwing with the system, and it should be stopped. So, having gotten that out of the way, there are many ways to play the real world game of let's get some legislation to go our way because I'm a corporation and I like when things go my way, and when they don't go my way, it can cost me tens of millions or hundreds of millions of dollars, so I want to really make sure they go my way. In that world, some people bet on winners. Some people bet on the candidate that they think will be most supportive in general for what they want to get done. And others are super cynical and smart. And in some ways, I really think that these super cynical players like Goldman Sachs and like AT&T, and there's a bunch of them now that play both sides, I think they're very useful because what they reveal is, and this is where I think people get caught up in a kind of false dichotomy. They think, oh, corporations are just big toys driven around by CEOs, and the CEOs have their own political axis to grind, and thus they backed the candidate that they feel like politically aligns with them. And that's really more of an illusion, right? How it really operates is companies want things to go their way. And so they will try to figure out their best bet to make things go their way. It's not about politics. It's not about I'm a Republican, you're a Democrat. That's not what it's about. That's why when we get around to looking at the data that goes into my own system for rating companies, I actually don't look at whether the campaign contributions or the lobbying or whatever goes to Democrats or Republicans. I don't care. What I care about is how much undue influence are these power centers exerting on our democracy, which then squeezes out the voice of you and I and everybody else that the democracy is supposed to represent. So when you have a player like Goldman Sachs or AT&T, what it reveals to me very clearly is that the really smart ones are playing all sides, because that means everybody owes them a favor, no matter what. And they don't do this, again, it's not politically motivated. It is economically motivated. These are smart economic investments. Corporations, if they're good at one thing, just one thing, they are exceptional at understanding how to attract money. Right? That's why they're so powerful and so amazing and successful. If they weren't, they'd be out of the game. No other institution can attract money like they can. So they are the least stupid about money of any institution that we know of or any human being that we know of. So when they put down a big campaign contribution for a candidate or a series of candidates or for lobbyists or whatever, it is not because they really believe in candidate X or candidate Y, or they really, want X, Y, or Z to kind of happen for the public. It has nothing to do with that. It is a smart bottom line investment. And sometimes it pays off and sometimes it doesn't, just like the stock market or a mutual fund or anything else. But in the long term, guess who makes the money? The people who invest in the stock market, smart, and mutual funds and so forth, who spend all their time and have a lot of money to invest. Same thing. Same thing. Good question.